the narrative I'm seeing pushed all over social media these days of Klopp's tenure being only one COVID Premier League title has to be the most disrespectful thing I've heard ever. Here's the thing. We did only win one league title, but there's so much context around us and that team that Jurgen Klopp built that you need to know it before you can judge. And the main reason why I'm making this video is because of this guy commenting on my YouTube channel saying that Arsenal, we better hope as Liverpool fans that Manchester City win the league this season, because if Arsenal win the league, it will outcliff and be a better achievement than us winning it in 1920. And it's blasphemy. It's pure blasphemy to even say that. As you all know, Klopp joined the club in 15-16. We were in disarray. Steven Gerrard left the club, and we finished like 8th that season. And in that season, he got us to a Europa League final against Sevilla, and on the road to that final, he gave us one of the most iconic Europa League games in which we came back from being 3-1 down against Dortmund at Anfield and beat them 4-3. The season didn't end well for us, as we lost the Europa League final, and they beat us 3-1 without having any shots on target. Same with us somehow, but that's besides the point. First season, and he got us to a Europa League final. And in the season after that, in 16-17, he got us top 4, which qualified us for the Champions League in 2017-18 season. And it was really this season that the Mane, Salah, Firmino trio cemented themselves into the history books. Because this is our first leg into the round of 16, first Champions League campaign since Brendan Rodgers left the club. And we smoked Porto 5-0, and it ended up being 5-0 because we didn't score in the second leg. It ended 5-0 in our second leg, the iconic 3-0 win over Manchester City. And what makes this an even better game, we played them at the Etihad earlier in the season. Mane got sent off, and we lost 5-0, which was hefty. Don't forget, this is the exact same City team that got 100 points. This is the exact same year. Same City team, 100 points, rocked up to our ground. We smacked them 3-0. Then in the second leg, this is, by the way, Man City's last loss in the Champions League at the Etihad, not including the Madrid game. Since this game, they haven't lost at the Etihad, which shows how great of a team Manchester City is. But we rocked up, got the result, 5-1 in aggregate, perfect. Got into the round of 16, and once again, Salah, Mane, Firmino. And this is what I miss about that trio. We actually converted those chances. We smoked Roma 5-2. They actually beat us 4-2 in the second leg, which we barely escaped. We won that game like 6-7, 6 on aggregate. They were about to do a comeback against us like they did against Barca the round before that. Then we had the huge Champions League final in Klopp's tenure. By the way, this is 3 seasons. He got us to 2 European finals, and it was against Prime Madrid. They just won the last 2 Champions Leagues back to back. They're trying to go for 3 in a row, which no team has done since, I'm pretty sure, Ajax back in the 70s. And we lost that game. We were very unfortunate because Salah got injured in like the first 10 minutes of the game. And Salah, he was our best player that year. I'm pretty sure he broke the top scorer record in the Premier League, and he was like on 50 goals this season, and he was unstoppable. But he got injured early on, and all 3 of their goals, Bale's bicycle kick, perfection. Nobody could have stopped that. But Bale's other goal and Benzema's first were all down to Karius. So if we had a better goalkeeper, once again, Klopp's entire tenure at Liverpool is just a big what if. If Karius wasn't on the spectrum that game and Salah didn't get injured, we could have won a Champions League in Jurgen Klopp's first ever season back in the Champions League. We lost the Champions League final, and we finished 4th that year, which qualified us for the next Champions League. And we actually won the Champions League that year. And we competed on both fronts, Champions League and Premier League. That Champions League run resulted us in beating Bayern 3-1 at the Allianz to qualify us for the semi-finals of the Champions League. We were 3-0 down at the Camp Nou, came back 4-0 in the second leg at Anfield, and beat Tottenham in the final to win the Champions League. That's not the most impressive part. In the Premier League, we got 97 points, having only 1 loss that season. And as we all know, we were 2 centimeters away from losing that game. This was the only game we lost in that entire campaign. 2-1 against Manchester City, 2 centimeters away from scoring a goal, which could have been the opener of the game. And who would have known what would have happened? Once again, it's a huge what if. In case you need a better look. That's how close we were to being an Invincibles, Centurions, Premier League, and Champions League winners. Then, of course, the next season, we were like, you know what? No more fucking about. We got 99 points. We were 1 point away from equaling City Centurions. But that's not the point here. We had 103 points out of 105 available. And the 2 points we dropped was away at Old Trafford, which is understandable because they're our rivals. The thing here is that Liverpool team was unstoppable, and you cannot compare it to the Arsenal team of today. And the following season, we had a blip because there was the huge defender crisis. Of course, all that happened. But the season after that, we got right back in it. Only 2 losses, and both losses, I remember it. West Ham away and Leicester away to both those games. Salah missed a penalty against Leicester, and against West Ham, Alisson wasn't himself, basically. And those were the only 2 games we lost. And if y'all remember, the last day of the season, Aston Villa were 2-0 up against Man City with 15 minutes to go. And if they held on, we would have won the league. Arsenal fans don't know this kind of heartbreak. 15 minutes away from winning the league. And me personally, those 15 minutes were the reason why we didn't win the Champions League that year either. I'm telling you now, if Aston Villa hold it on for those 15 minutes and we won the Premier League that year, I could swear on God's name we would have won the Champions League and completed the quadruple. To lose a Premier League title like that 2 weeks before you play a Champions League final, Courtois pulled out a masterclass out of his ass. And probably my worst couple weeks of supporting this club. Because I couldn't take the sheer heartbreak. We went from a quadruple to a cup double in 15 minutes. Now let's compare it to the Arsenal team now. Arsenal last season got 84 points while City got 89. And City, they were dropping points left and right like it was no business. Arsenal, they were 8 points clear at that point. But they threw it away themselves. They threw it away. And here's the thing. The team that Arsenal are competing with averages around 90 points a season. I used the calculation method that if Manchester City win all their games, they'll be at 91 points. And City won the league last season with 89, and the number between is 90. We, as a club, for the amount of times we competed, 18-19, 19-20, 20-21-22, those 3 seasons, the winner had to average 97.5 points that year. 97.5 points. You know how much that is? And don't forget, we were competing on all fronts. 18-19, we won the Champions League that year and got 97 points. We were competing with a team that got 198 points in back-to-back seasons. Back-to-back seasons. In 1920, we lost to Atletico in the Champions League. That was all Adrian's fault. I don't care. All Adrian's fault. But we got 99 points. 21-22, we were chasing a quadruple. Arsenal last season got knocked out of all competitions and finished second. And this season, they got knocked out of all competitions and are most likely going to finish second. Please do not compare the 2 clubs. They're not the same. Arsenal last year, amazing. Arsenal could do amazing stuff in the future. But our team back then, if just 2 things have gone into our favor, and that's the thing that pains me so much about Klopp's tenure at our club. It's a huge what if. He could have gone away with around 3 league titles and 2 Champions Leagues. And the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and a couple Super Cups. He could have walked away with that, but instead they give him 1 of each. That's why this sport is not fair.